There's something powerful about hearing a former player speak so openly about his connection to the club, and when that club is Rangers, emotions tend to run even deeper. Neil McCann, ex-Rangers winger and a familiar face to fans of Scottish football, has stirred up conversation with a rare, heartfelt reflection on his bond with the Ibrox side. It's not every day that you hear such honesty from someone who's worn the shirt and lived the pressure that comes with representing one of Scotland's football giants. While there's been plenty of speculation over the years about McCann possibly making a return in some sort of coaching capacity, this time around, he decided to address the rumors himself. Now, let's get one thing straight. McCann made it crystal clear there were no official talks with the club. No phone call, no meeting, nothing behind closed doors. But that hasn't stopped fans from wondering what might have been. The whispers started getting louder when Kevin Muscat, another ex-Rangers man, was heavily linked with the manager's job during the recent recruitment chaos. Many believed McCann would be his right-hand man if Muscat had taken the reins, and on the surface, it did make sense. They're former teammates. They've had conversations about football and their shared past at Ibrox, and both understand the culture and expectations that come with being part of this institution. But when asked directly about it, McCann didn't shy away. He admitted those chats happened in the past, but also confirmed nothing ever reached a formal stage. Just speculation. Still, hearing him talk about how much he loved his time back at Rangers, even in a temporary coaching role, makes you realize how deep that connection runs. He talked about how proud he was to be part of the club again, to be on the sidelines, to feel that energy. You can tell this wasn't just a job for him, it was personal. And in a way, that's what makes the idea of him returning one day so appealing to the supporters. Because when someone gets the club, truly gets it, you feel like they're one of your own. Whether or not McCann ever ends up back at Ibrox in a formal capacity remains to be seen, but one thing's for sure, the bond is still there, and it's strong. Meanwhile, the spotlight has also turned to current matters on the pitch, where new head coach Danny Rohl is already beginning to make an impact. And yes, we need to talk about that first win under his leadership. It wasn't perfect, but it was important. Rangers finally secured a long-overdue 3-1 victory over Kilmarnock at Ibrox, a result that brought some much-needed relief after weeks of turbulence and frustration. But as always with Rangers, there was drama along the way. Goalkeeper Jack Butland, who's actually been one of the standout performers this season, had a rare slip-up that allowed the visitors to equalize. A moment to forget for a player who's otherwise brought calm and confidence between the sticks. To Rohl's credit, though, he didn't throw his man under the bus. Far from it. In fact, he defended Butland with a level of calm and leadership that shows he understands what this group needs right now. He called him not only a great goalkeeper, but also one of the key leaders in the dressing room. A voice in the squad that the younger players look up to. And that matters. Because rebuilding a side like Rangers is not just about tactics and formations. It's about identity, belief, leadership, and chemistry. Rohl knows that. His words suggest he's building a culture where mistakes are addressed, but not exaggerated. Where setbacks are met with clarity, not chaos. And speaking of leadership, the new manager also made some bold decisions up top. Starting with Danilo, who struggled to get minutes in recent weeks, was a clear statement of intent. And guess what? It paid off. The striker found the net and reminded everyone why he was brought in. Then came Youssef Chermatai, another forward trying to find his feet, and after being subbed on, he too got on the scoresheet. For a team that's been crying out for more productivity and presence in the final third, seeing both strikers deliver was a massive step in the right direction. Rohl was careful in how he framed their performances, calling them small steps, not miracles, but he also emphasized the importance of building confidence. It's about momentum now. One result won't fix everything, but it starts to create belief. You could also sense a shift in attitude across the pitch. Players looked sharper, more aggressive in the press, and more purposeful in possession. That passive, lethargic style we saw too often under Russell Martin seemed to fade, replaced by a hunger to win duels, press high, and play with intent. It's early days, but the signs were encouraging. For the first time in a while, there was structure and identity to the way Rangers played. There was clarity. And for supporters who've had to endure one false dawn after another, that clarity was like a breath of fresh air. Now, while the goals and the headlines may have gone to the forwards, there was one player in midfield who quietly ran the show, fellow Osgard. The Norwegian midfielder, a summer signing from Luton Town, didn't grab a goal or an assist, but those who watched closely saw a player completely in control. Intelligent movement, crisp passing, and a calmness under pressure that is rare for someone so new to this environment. Stephen Naismith, watching from the BBC studio, called him the best player on the park. And it's hard to argue with that. The stats back it up: 3 successful dribbles, 34 accurate passes, and 50 touches before he came off late in the game. But beyond the numbers, it was his attitude. Always showing for the ball, always looking to progress play, never hiding. In a team still finding its identity, Osgard looked like someone who already knew exactly what he wanted to do. For Rohl, that performance will be a huge positive. Because if you can build your midfield around someone who offers both control and creativity, you're halfway there. And right now, Rangers need those kinds of players. Ones who can carry the ball, break lines, and link up with the front men. With Osgard pulling the strings and the forwards starting to click, there's finally a sense that something might be coming together. Let's be real, the past few years have been a roller coaster for Rangers. Since Steven Gerrard left, it's been a constant search for stability. Giovanni van Bronckhorst gave fans that magical European run, but fell short domestically. Michael Beale never quite found the formula. And Russell Martin? His time in charge barely got off the ground before it crumbled under the weight of his own ideas. His possession-based philosophy might work elsewhere, but at Ibrox, it felt disconnected. The players looked confused, the fans frustrated, and the results spoke for themselves. That's what makes Rohl's start so significant. He hasn't just come in and demanded results. He's trying to reshape the mentality. And while one win over Kilmarnock won't fix everything, it suggests that there's a plan. There's direction. The pressing was tighter, the transitions were quicker, and most importantly, the belief was back. You could feel it in the stadium. The noise, the energy, the response from the fans. It felt different. Not perfect, not dominant, but determined. What this group needs now is consistency. One result can be a spark, but it takes more to rebuild trust with a fan base that's been let down too often. That starts with games like the next one, backing up the momentum, showing that it wasn't a one-off. Rohl has the players believing, and if he can continue to build on these early signs, there's no reason Rangers can't climb back into contention where they belong. And somewhere in the background, watching all this unfold, you know there are people like Neil McCann. People who have worn the jersey, felt the highs and lows, and still bleed blue. Whether he's on the touchline or in the stands, that kind of connection matters. Because Rangers isn't just a football club. It's identity, history, pride. And right now, it feels like the pieces might just be starting to fall into place again. And while the signs of life under Danny Rohl are promising, no one inside Ibrox is getting carried away. Not yet. Because this is Rangers, a club where expectations never rest and pressure is a permanent companion. The reality is simple. One win does not erase months of disappointment, fractured confidence, or the damage done by poor decisions on and off the pitch. But what that victory against Kilmarnock did offer was something that's been missing for far too long: hope. It showed that, under the right guidance, this squad might still have the fight in them. That with clarity and structure, performances can improve. That players who looked lost just a few weeks ago might still have a role to play in the rebuild. Take Jack Butland, for example. Yes, he made an error that gifted Kilmarnock an equalizer, a moment that could have shattered the team's fragile morale. But instead of hiding, he kept his head up. And more importantly, his manager had his back. Rohl's defense of Butland wasn't just about protecting a goalkeeper, it was a statement to the whole squad. A message that mistakes will happen, but accountability doesn't mean scapegoating. That kind of leadership sets the tone for a dressing room. And in a club that's seen too many fingers pointed in recent years, that shift in tone could be crucial. Butland has been one of the few consistent performers this season, and if Rangers are going to climb out of this rut, they'll need him at his best. His experience, communication, and presence remain vital, not just in goal, but in helping the younger players around him stay grounded. With a new manager in charge, having leaders like him on the pitch makes all the difference. Then there's the question of identity. For all the tactical talk, Rangers haven't truly looked like themselves since the tail end of Steven Gerrard's reign. Under Van Bronckhorst, there were flashes, especially in Europe, but domestically, it never quite clicked. Under Beale and Martin, it was even more fragmented. Styles came and went, but none of them stuck. The players didn't seem to know what they were being asked to do. And when things went wrong, they went wrong quickly. Rohl, on the other hand, is trying to simplify things. His setup against Kilmarnock wasn't overly complex. It didn't rely on over-engineered build-ups or an overcommitment to possession. Instead, it focused on basics, solid shape, coordinated pressing, clear roles. That alone was enough to make a visible difference. The midfield pressed higher, the defenders stayed connected, and the forward line finally looked like it had some rhythm. Youssef Chermatai's goal, while just a single moment, could prove significant. The big striker hasn't had the easiest start to life in Scotland. New surroundings, a new system, and a team in turmoil are hardly the ingredients for a smooth transition. But his goal showed what he can offer when given the right service. Physicality, movement, and a presence in the box, something Rangers have been crying out for. Rohl's post-match comments were measured. He didn't overhype the result or praise individuals beyond what was deserved. Instead, he spoke about steps. Small, necessary steps. That mindset will serve him well. Because this rebuild isn't going to be solved with a single tactical tweak or a handful of signings. It's going to take time, patience, and a steady hand at the wheel. The fans, while desperate for success, understand that. But they need to see that things are moving in the right direction, that the mistakes of recent years aren't being repeated. And that brings us back to the squad itself. There are still glaring issues to address. Creativity in the final third remains inconsistent. Set-piece defending continues to be a concern. And certain players, while talented, have not lived up to expectations. Whether that's due to poor recruitment, lack of confidence, or tactical confusion, it's something Rohl will need to tackle head-on. The positive is that there's now a foundation to build from. The win over Kilmarnock wasn't flawless, but it was functional. And right now, functionality matters more than flair. The squad needs rhythm, not razzle-dazzle. They need points, not platitudes. You can sense the difference in body language already. Players like Danilo, who've been on the fringes, suddenly look like they belong again. Midfielders like Osgaard are starting to grow into their roles. Even the defenders, often the target of criticism, looked more assured. That's what happens when there's a plan. When the lines between roles aren't blurred and everyone knows what's expected of them. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to get all the exclusive news about Rangers FC. Don't overlook any details about your beloved team. It's crucial for Rangers FC fans. In a move that has sent shockwaves through Scottish football, whispers around Ibrox are growing louder. Jamie Vardy, the Premier League stalwart, is reportedly set to don the blue of Rangers. Sources close to the player suggest that discussions have progressed swiftly, with a potential deal that could see the former Leicester striker spearhead a so-called super attack alongside the Jares' existing forwards. Fans across Scotland and beyond have been left both excited and skeptical. Social media is ablaze with speculation, memes, and heated debates. Some supporters are dreaming of a fearsome frontline capable of bulldozing defenses across Europe, while critics are questioning whether the move is realistic or even necessary. After all, Vardy is no stranger to headlines, but this rumored transfer has ignited an intensity unlike any seen at Ibrox in recent years. Insiders hint that Rangers management sees Vardy as the missing piece in their European ambitions. A striker with a proven Premier League record and a knack for poaching crucial goals, Vardy could be the difference in tight matches both domestically and in continental competition. Yet, others are wary of the risks. Age, fitness, and adaptation to the Scottish Premiership all loom large in the conversation. Meanwhile, fans have been flooding Twitter and fan forums with their takes. Some have coined hashtags proclaiming the arrival of a super strike force, while rival fans have unleashed playful jibes about the £30 million price tag and the feasibility of sustaining such a marquee signing. Betting shops are reportedly seeing a surge in odds-related wagers, reflecting the fervor surrounding the rumor. Whether this move materializes or remains a tantalizing whisper, one thing is clear. The Rangers' dressing room and Scottish football, in general, are on the brink of a dramatic shake-up. The prospect of Jamie Vardy in blue boots has ignited a perfect storm of hope, hype, and controversy, a story that will dominate headlines for weeks, if not months. As the saga unfolds, supporters will be watching Ibrox with bated breath, eager to see if the dream of a super attack will become reality, or if it will be yet another transfer tale lost in the swirling fog of football rumors. Greetings, fans. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as it's greatly appreciated by Rangers FC. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments section below. Until the next video, stay tuned.